What's going on? This is Mandelo, and in this video we're going to look at how to set up TPO profiles using a few different programs, and really that's the objective of the video because all the different platforms vary quite a bit, and to identify certain characteristics in the charts to integrate into trading, use different strategies, it's kind of confusing if you're just getting started with using this tool. So once we get comfortable with our own settings, once you tailor them to your liking, then we can really start to identify setups or other ways that this can be used in your own systems. So here we're looking at my TradingView setup for Binance Perps, and this is Binance Bitcoin perpetuals. And when you're going between platforms viewing TPO charting, it's going to make your life a lot easier to use the same ticker while you're refining. It doesn't really matter, but for example, when you are going between different tickers, let's say this is Binance Bitcoin Perps, and you go to Bitstamp. These are the exact same settings on the two charts, and look at the market profile, the TPO profile in Bitstamp versus Binance. So it makes a big difference what you're looking at and what your settings are for observing the individual TPOs or TPO blocks. And I like to see the letters when I'm zooming in. Different platforms have options for customizing the colors and everything. You can view the action through a session, and it helps to coordinate or follow the price action, but I still like to look at candles. There's other places that are free to look at TPO. CoinAnk is one, so anybody can use these charts for crypto at least. Trading Light is a nice place, and then Addis charts are another nice place to view TPO. And EXO, Quant Tower, there's plenty of other paid tools that you can use for TPO that have many other features for charting and your technical analysis, but we're just going to try and keep it simple and go to TradingView in just a minute. But when I mentioned the tick size for the different tickers when we were looking at TradingView just a minute ago, I wanted just to compare a few examples of tick size with, again, Binance Perpetuals and Addis. So this profile we're looking at has a different number of ticks than this one and this one. Now it really depends on what you're trying to do. For me, I like to see the individual blocks, and everybody's different, but at least for the detail of it, if you have nearly equal lows but they are not equal, you want at least to get some sort of detail for an additional block representing that lower low or higher high, if that's the case. So this is, I think, 38 ticks. Same piece of price action. This is 24. This is 10. And I think 10 is too much. I don't like to have so many that you have to zoom in like with a microscope to look at them. And where for Binance Perps, this is, it seems like it's a lot, like too much information. I'm not looking just for the shape of the profile, but I want some characteristics within the profile that I'm going to look for, more than just at the highs and the lows. So I want some detail with that, but not so much detail that I can't observe some certain features. This is Bybit with 10 ticks. Bybit USD, coin margin perps. And you see that it looks quite different. So it really is dependent on you, what you like, what you don't. You see at this bottom right here, that is virtually pixel perfect equal lows, and 10 ticks is just fine for observing that characteristic within our profile. But using Binance, it was far too much. All right, why I showed Addis is because it's a free platform for anyone, for at least for crypto as well. So it's nice to use it for TPO charting, for really anybody. Now in Trading Light, and again, this is only for crypto. They don't have other tickers from traditional finance in Trading Light, but it is nice. It's a real nice tool. It identifies single prints and a lot of other features of TPO profiling. But for Binance Perps, Bitcoin, if you're using it for the things that we're looking at in the video, poor highs and poor lows, again, if you use the minimum amount of ticks, you're gonna have TMI, I think. I like to see the blocks. You have to be able to see the blocks, identify little differences without having it make everything go away. And 5 ticks seems good for that. So let's look at it with minimum amount of ticks, which you can do, and it's really nice to see single prints with that setting. It blocks it out, nice big area. And again, single prints are characteristic of TPO charts. But we are looking at features of the profile at the highs and the lows, and specifically the tails. Now, I don't have the tails highlighted because it's just too busy on my charts, in my opinion, but some people like to do this. Now, why I'm paying so much attention and being so picky about the blocks, the block size, the ticks, all of this, is really because we're going to be looking at the highs and the lows of a session. In TPO charts, typically you look at in 30-minute increments, 30-minute charts, and you have a new profile for each daily session. Okay, you can divide it up further. However, traditionally it is customary to use them in daily sessions, for crypto at least. Okay, so some other things that are nice with, let's say, Trading Light is you can identify value areas, point of controls, initial balance, and it's highlighted right on the chart. You see that I have highlighted value areas, point of control. It has a lot of the same things, but it doesn't have the initial balance, and that's something that you may want to use in your charting for a couple of different setups. So we kind of have looked at some of the TPO settings, but to get the blocks looking the way that I want them to, when you use the TradingView indicator, they have auto settings, and pretty much all of the TPO charts will have something that's automatic, but I like to tinker and make things look just right to me. And for Bitcoin, somewhere between 340 and 350 ticks looks pretty good for Binance Perps. So now let's start using these TPO profiles or market profiles. Now, one thing to help to highlight or just focus on these TPOs is you can put your chart in line. So then that's all you're seeing. And the nice thing about this also is you can change or adjust your settings so you can look at it in the letters. Still, you know, in default settings, it has a bunch of different colors for different periods within the day. I don't need all that, you know, because I like to look at the candles as well. In TradingView, you can see where single prints are, you can see the value areas for a session, and remember, each profile is for one daily session. Now, you may want to look at volume profile as well for each day. I usually like to simply pull fixed range volume profiles for areas of interest where price action's occurring or where price may be moving, or just use the visible range volume profile indicator. So when you're using these market profiles, these TPOs, you're going to be looking at the highs and the lows. And to identify a poor high or a poor low, these blocks represent highs and lows of a session. And if there is not a long tail on any candle at the high or the low of a session, that is usually something that can create what we consider to be a poor high or a poor low. And it's really kind of a way to describe that there is lack of excess. And excess is at least two TPO single prints or TPO blocks, TPO letters, at a high or a low. So if there's less than two single print tails, that is considered to be a poor high or a poor low. Really, this daily session is still occurring, so there is time for this poor low that is forming to be repaired or revisited. But if it is not, then it can be a objective or a target for price to move back to at some point in time. And often this happens rather quickly, within a few sessions. So let's revisit the area that we were looking at just a minute ago. Fast forward, this is the next day from when the last section was recorded, but it's nice to be able to update you with how that poor low that we identified played out. So right here is the place that we had identified a poor low, and as you can see by that one or single block, that one TPO tail, and nearly equal lows still that entire session, that could be considered a poor low. Now off of the daily open, so you have a new profile for the new day, and in crypto it's 12 a.m. UTC, or 0 o'clock. It's weird to say. Off the daily open, what happened? Well, it's kind of interesting. It doesn't happen all that frequently, but this is called the daily open drive, and you see that it just immediately sold off. Okay, and that area that we had identified as being our poor low was repaired. Okay, so that was unfinished business. It was an area which has a high probability of being revisited, and now you can see, based on market structure and really the TPO profiles, not only did we clean this up or repair that area of unfinished business, but currently it's become an area of resistance. So that's more of a market structure thing than TPO, but it is interesting to be able to identify these areas using the TPO profiles. In the next few videos, we'll look at other characteristics of TPO profile with what we learned in this video, and use them to help identify or anticipate price action in various different setups. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Share if you think this is helpful, and please ask any questions in the comments. Good luck, and see you in the next one.